Okay, we're live. Okay, this is Podlair Hangout on air, and we'll go around and introduce ourselves. My name is Jaini,
And I am Sai Miedinas.
Nigerian.
Nijai Infiniti.
Daiji Glenn.
Naiji Emil.
So Mitchell, IG Mitchell should be joining us at some point. He's having some internet issues, but hopefully he'll be able to join us soon. In the meantime, we'll get started. I'll let you guys know where kind of like a little status update of where we're at. Coach, he is right now working through, he's collected 2,000 additional samples that we can leverage for the quizzes, for the Mojo quizzes, and now he's going through and going to the purification process. So during that process, he's staying back at the apartment in Vallejo, and he won't be joining us for the hangout today, but he's here in spirit, and he's also given us some envelopes with the Mojo quiz answers and with the live reads that we'll get to later on today. So, okay. So anything you guys wanna say before we get started? Any updates? And we have Ben's doing it from the school. And we can see the nice live background over there.
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, so.
Do you want to share your nugget?
Yeah. Well then, we'll share just a few tips and insightful nuggets, hopefully about Mojo reading. The one that I'll talk about today has to do with emotionality, being able to pick up emotional tones, and how that is, can be leveraged for Mojo reading, and in ways in which it can be useful and not useful. So being able to pick up emotional tones and connect to those can be a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful signal. I think the thing that comes to me when it comes to connecting to emotional tones is watching out for not letting that be the overriding factor that takes you to a conclusion of someone's Mojo, because that can lead you off track. But if you have a sense of the Mojo, and then you go and connect to the emotional tones that are related to that character, that can give you a lot of insight. Sorry guys, I'm just seeing here, it's telling me to connect my computer to the charger, so I think I'm just have to turn on the on button with the power strip.
And looks like we're live. That's
okay.
That's simple. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Good.
I think we're good now.
And we're back.
We're back. So, just to pick up on where I left off. Kind of like akin to, with a lot of the samples who are artists, like actors or musicians, they have their actual artistic performances. That's kind of like why we stay away from watching or from reading a Mojo from their artistic performances, because that can, that's very moving experience, sort of a spiritual experience that connecting to that sample with, and that can move you, in very impactful ways, but it leads you to down a track down a wrong track when it comes to Mojo reading. Like, it's better to just watch interviews that sample first, and and then come up with a read of that mojo, and then after that, once you have like sort of a more neutral read of that person's mojo, then it's good to go to the artistic performances, and I think that then adds a whole new dimension of that character, that sample, that can add a lot of insight to your initial read.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I can totally.
yeah, you guys.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, Mitchell.
Hey, Mitchell.
Cool. So, real quick before I open this one up to everyone, kind of share their thoughts about it. Mitchell, Coach is not. He's still working on the purification, the 2K purification, so he's not going to be here today. But we have Mojo quiz answers and live reads in an envelope, so we'll be able to work off of that. So, do you guys have any thoughts about this? Like how you guys have like experiences you guys have had with emotional tones and connecting to those through samples, and how you've used that to read, or maybe not used it, or shied away from it.
Yeah, that's interesting. My microphone working?
Say that again.
Is my microphone working?
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
working. We can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think it always tells me it doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, I see what you're talking about. Like, I remember a long time ago when I was just starting to learn how to mojo read, Coach actually said to mostly avoid that if we could, because it can cloud the read. Like, I requested someone. We were just kind of throwing out names, and I requested this rap video, and he said that it would be better if we get an interview with you. Otherwise, it's going to be a soft read. Because the whole point of artistic performance is that it's designed to move you. So it's a form. I mean, it's a form of distortion. Now, with that said, it can. I don't think it's impossible for it to help you to read a person. I think in certain circumstances it could. If it hits you in a certain way, it could remind you of something or someone, and you can get a riff or something like that.
Yeah, agreed.
That's definitely true. Yeah, that's why it kind of adds to being able to appreciate it more when you definitely know what mojo you're watching doing. It could be either a performance or something, not necessarily a little performance, but anyway, where there's a lot of emotionality that the person is actually bringing, because you're seeing that mathematic design kind of push out that much energy, and what it does, the things it does. That's a bit more of a rare thing to experience. Someone kind of bringing themselves up to that emotional level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a lot out of it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like you're watching a movie or something of a character, and then you might fall in love with that character. Like, I really like this person's performance or something. That can kind of make it so that that can mess up your read on them, because you might want to associate them as a particular kind of mojo, because you kind of think of them in that kind of a way.
Right.
Like you project your own.
Start kind of bringing them closer to your story.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Or you might be like, this person is not my mojo, but they totally make sense as this kind of mojo.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes. Totally.
It just kind of like makes it, because the role of the character can sometimes be confusing. The role might be, a story might be of like a Nejez or maybe a Nezez, but they'll have characters that are playing it. The people will be mojos that are not those same mojos. So that can cause problems in that way. And then I think we've had issues like that with a lot of the reads that we had for actresses and actors. Like, what was it, True Romance? With Christian Slater and that one
Trish
woman.
Marquette.
Yeah, we used to think that she was a Nijai, says the storyline was Nijez, but then it was later revealed that Patricia Arquette is actually a Jaini. So that's like an interesting note to make, because that's kind of like art kind of influencing your swaying you to like make certain kind of decisions that
Right,
you shouldn't.
because it moves you so heavily in a spiritual sort of way, in a spirit-forming way that you know.
Yeah, it can compel you to justify why you appreciate or maybe don't appreciate this kind of creature. But yeah, it's something that you have to be kind of mindful of, definitely, and also be aware, like looking at how do I appreciate this creature instead of like justifying any reasoning why you do.
Right. That makes sense.
That means kind of like being quasi-state.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, just I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can.
I'll carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to be like aware of like how the energy is hitting you and influencing you personally in an emotional way, because that tells you important information from your spirits as far as like what's actually going on with that person's story, etc. But you do it in such a way that you're aware of like what is actually relevant to that person's emotion and what isn't. So if you're being hit by certain energies and you feel really strongly a certain way, you need to make sure that you're not actually assuming or taking shortcuts to think that that person is a particular mojo just based on that reaction, but using that to actually fully canvas what's actually going on.
You know what?
To help you canvas, actually.
Yeah, Ben, you actually point out something like for the quasi-state, like you mentioned that you need to understand how it is that's like a sample or something is like influencing you, moving you.
Mm-hmm.
It's also tricky. Like you'll notice that you're being moved in a certain way, but you won't. It's hard to like understand what that is. Like what is this that I'm feeling? How do I like what am I supposed to think about this? And then trying to somehow put that in some kind of like a G or Zai or like using the discernment powers to sort of like do something with that kind of energy, and then you just don't. And that's kind of like where the mysteries happen, because like I'm looking at something and it's moving me, and I'm noticing certain things about it, but what does that mean though? Does this mean this or does this mean that? And then you're kind of like you have to weigh and sort of like try and figure it out, but nothing's given to you. You just gotta like so I would really like to know like how to deal, like how do you kind of like go through that process to like find the right kind of place to put it, as far as like that tone or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean the way Naiji like the ideal way to do it is to like start like from 5th gear and like go down the gears, down to 4th gear, like 4th gear riffs, things like that. 3rd gear, distinct signals. In that sort of way. So it's much easier to interpret or associate that artistic energy and spiritual energy, because it's very difficult to go straight from that the way that energy is like hitting you like in 5th gear kind of way, down to like a knee perk up or something. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? Like Adimus or Jailin, you guys like have anything to say about like quasi-state and like how to like like figure out the feelings and how to like interpret them properly and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I try to it's not like that being detached while remaining interested in the subject. That we talk about, that helps us, that's crucial, like one of the important things for a mojo reader to be able to have. And it's like, so you're so more of just like you're observing, basically you're using the perception, whether it's your knee or nai, to see those patterns and view the emotionality as another pattern within the equation, but not like investing it yourself, like remaining more in a quasi state and not investing yourself just in the sense of like you're interested in in the sample, in the subject, but not using that to make like first canvassing stuff before you actually start making attachments to it.
It definitely starts. Yeah, it definitely starts with being mindful of what you're feeling, noting that it's there, and also kind of you can feel your own biases where it's like I feel like I'm trying to lean this in a certain way, and
That's
I'm
why
feeling
the fifth year is so important.
Yeah.
Like Ben said, you need to be aware of what your biases are and kind of like use that as a factor when you're doing the readings, like how it's hitting you, and sort of analyzing that at the same time as you're analyzing the subject.
And also being mindful of the contradictions that you're getting, because when you do want the answer to lean a certain way, you're seeing what you're seeing. Well, actually, no. You're looking at what you're looking at. And there's a difference between looking at something and actually seeing something. So you're still taking in that person's energy, their cues and stuff like that. And when you want to kind of lean the answer a certain way, on some level you are mindful of what's contradicting. And so you should kind of start zooming into those contradictions just one by one and actually start exploring what those mean. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah, I like that you say that you need to be. It's one thing to be looking at a sample. It's another thing to be actually reading the sample. And
Right.
So, yeah, that's so. Reading requires actual effort on your part. You need to sort of maintain the interest, and while at the same time being detached. I have moments where I look at the sample, I'm noticing certain things, but I don't have any idea of what their mojo is. I'm just looking at certain things, and I'm like noticing that they're doing this and they're doing that. And sometimes I might find myself like trying to put some kind of a label on what that thing was that I saw. But then, and then
but
I guess
maybe it's like it's part of a larger picture of things. So like just I think it's really helpful, and I'd imagine with your process being an IG, like doing a lot of those observations initially and canvassing without trying to necessarily assign a grand meaning to it right away.
Right. So like
the canvas is how you get the grand meaning. Because all these things that you saw at the beginning in a series that may not have made sense before, once you've canvassed it, you can find a perspective that unifies all those things as just being a part of one thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not talking just like individual cues. I mean like just like it can be like the entire person's just like the way they're hitting you all at once.
Yeah.
But like you have to like canvas all that, but then getting it from like looking at the person, reading them, and then putting them into the right kind of mojo, like being like this person's this mojo, and then being like, yeah, I feel good about this. Sometimes it's just difficult, and you need more samples in order to cross contextualize to get the bigger picture. So it's
yeah, sometimes
like,
yes,
yeah,
like definitely like you said, having several media samples that or media choices or options for that sample, so you can cross-contextualize, so you don't get just one flavor. Maybe they were in a particular state of mind in that interview that kind of like is really latent. So it gives you several opportunities to triangulate or to constellate the mojo, and then having like more fourth year riffs in your or having more samples basically in your virtual village that you can do fourth year riffs from is really helpful because like the more you have, the better the chances are that will connect.
Come up. Yeah.
I have a question.
And also, unless you're on a time constraint or something, for the most part, there's usually nothing wrong with just walking away and coming back later. Because sometimes, like, if you're just not feeling it, nothing good's gonna come from forcing it. So
right.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. I feel like maybe we should begin soon, but I just have one more question, and that has to do like, how do you know when you're right? How do you know when you got it? Not always easy.
I don't know. I don't think. I think like as you gain, well, I think that one like as you gain more proficiency in your emoji reading, I think that will give you more confidence
That
in general,
feeling
like
will
more in
gain
your
more
apparatus
meaning,
and your lens, how that works. So that will. I think I think this will happen is like once you get around like 100%, like or get close to like clear lens, then you'll have a better idea of what does it mean to actually like clearly see a sample, you know. And I think once that, 'cause I don't know that I've had that moment necessarily. I can see a lot of the patterns, but I don't have like 100% yet. So I can see that I'm headed in that direction. I feel that once, you know, I need to get that experience one time of just like having that like 100% clear vision of like looking at a sample and saying, wow, I'm seeing every single pattern.
Yeah.
You know, in front of me of that mojo, and I don't know, kind of like a Matrix moment. and then you'll know how that feels. I don't know if that makes sense.
When you already know the answer, then that feeling is a lot easier to get to because you already know the places. You already know kind of the explanation for this creature, so your eyes are easier to kind of just to go right there and be like, yes, that's why I'm looking at a Nizai or whatever mojo. Getting to that state on your own, it's the only way I can describe it is, yeah. But I mean, I think we get it sporadically.
Yeah.
And as you train, you will feel it. You may not know that you're feeling it, and that's kind of why we train, so we know when we're feeling it. Because there are times where you look at the sample and you're like, I literally see no contradiction in what I'm seeing. I feel no contradiction. I don't feel compelled to look again, because that's another thing. You're going to kind of, if you probably already have it now, but it's basically the sixth sense that asks, or well, no, because that applies to me, and this is more of a night thing. The inductive reasoning, the call to actually go back and look at the data, or to detach, or to imagine. I still feel that there's a certain dissonance when I'm looking at a sample, and there is something paradoxical about what I'm saying is, and you can try and fudge certain things and then say, well, it means something about this, something about their riff, something about their development, or something like that. But I feel like I can be most confident when I'm just at the most equilibrium with a certain sample, where it's like, as hard as I try to make this be something else, to try and project an answer on it, it just keeps coming back to this one answer. I hope that's
yeah.
We do kind of have to
I think
get
it's like once you become a master of your process.
Yeah.
You know, of your mojo reading process, the way you approach it as, you know, coming from your mojo and how, you know, your particular unique variations. Basically, mastering your apparatus and knowing what it is that you're you know, all of the patterns align for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
it's funny because it is. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the philosophical question that they address in like science and epistemology, where it's like, when have you proven that you know something? And what the best way to go about it is through constant checking yourself, falsification, just making sure, no, I actually am looking at this from the highest lens, and this is where the answer falls.
And that kind of answers the other part of the question, which is like, when do you not have it? And like, so it feels a certain way, and you kind of, it takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of effort to try and make sure that you have that. Like, you constantly are working towards that. So yeah.
Definitely.
I'm just gonna be right back. 1 sec.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
Okay, great insights. Want to give your nugget?
Yeah, I'll
Amos
quickly
has one to share.
drop my little point of insight. And
Okay.
Luckily, I think this conversation is a pretty good segue because it gets into the concept of the Mojo Reading Toolkit. Okay,
Cool.
so when we approach Mojo Reading and Mojo Reading training, then we have several critical resources. We have the virtual village, the actual physical samples that you train. When you train that, you get the virtual village in your psyche. So you start to construct infrastructure, knowledge of what these signals actually mean. So what dancing eyes means, what going above the expression above the midline actually means, actually looks like. That's the infrastructure. The train is when we actually take quizzes and try these out. In between those two things, we're building something. We're kind of building like a software package, a toolkit, if you will, of how to actually make sense of all of the resources that you have. A toolkit of like protocols and rituals to do and to do onto yourself to help you actually arrive at the right answer, with the strongest answer that you can. So, going over these right now and also checking out, looking at the samples that we do afterward, this is a part of this process because you have the 5 gears of Mojo Reading, which is essentially one thing broken down into 5 things. But in between that, there's the process of actually leveraging all of those resources to arrive at the right answer. So we talk about the 5 gears of Mojo Reading sometimes in a procedural sense, like for interpreters it's good to start at the 5th gear and work your way down, but in reality, we're actually doing all this stuff at the same time. When we begin, we do our best to 5th gear, kind of center ourselves, detach, quasi-state, but at the same time, we're still seeing all kinds of other stuff going. We're seeing 4th gears, 3rd gears,
Right.
1st gear cues are sticking out too. So amidst all of that, I don't want to call it noise, but amidst all of that data, the barrage of data, then that's when we start kind of implementing these tools from the Mojo Reading Toolkit to start piecing all of that data together. Teasing it out, yeah. Making sense of it, spinning around. So yeah, and in order to do that, a big part of it is this very open and I guess inventive process of talking about our Mojo Reading experience and what's working for us, because we're not just building a Mojo Reading toolkit, we're building a customized one specifically for you. So that applies to your mojos, that applies to you, who you are, what abilities you have, and that you can leverage. So it's really cool that we're right now in this room, 3 different mojos who have technically began to learn approaching Mojo Reading their own way, using their Mojo toolkit.
Right.
What's very interesting about that is so we're all coming at this in a different way and bringing what we have to the table. And as we're exchanging these ideas, then we're also boosting each other's abilities because we're taking insights that were generated from another mojo. And so it's more made aware to them coming at it in their way. But it still helps all of us and can be applied by all of us. So, yeah. So that's my nugget. That means we can get started.
Cool. That's awesome. Cool. Good discussion, guys. Okay, so we're going to get into the quiz now. Okay? You guys,
Go forward.
Okay.
do you guys have your answers in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, I'm breaking the seal. The envelope.
Seal has been broken. There's no turning back now. Pandora's box has been opened.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. First one, I won't look at it yet. Okay, so for Cynthia Daniel, I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I also said Nizai.
I said Johnny.
I said Nizai.
I said Jinai.
Mine's Nizai.
Okay, let's see. Answer is
Sure it
Nizai.
Cool.
So far, so
Nizai.
good.
Okay, so there was 1, 2. Who else on the?
I think I heard Mitchell.
Yes.
I said
Mitchell.
Nizai,
Yes.
and I think
I said Nizai.
Mike did.
Yeah.
Emil. Okay, so 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next, Juliet Daniel. I said Nijai for her.
I said Nizai.
Okay.
I said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
Mine's Naiji.
Okay, the answer is Nijai.
Nijai.
So that
That
was
is-
Yes.
five.
Oh,
Five,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Stormy Daniels. I said Zaini for her.
Zaini.
I said Ziny.
I said Zaini.
I said Vizai.
I said Zaini.
Zaini.
Answer is Zaini.
It's like 6, I think.
Yes.
We all got
six.
Daimojos.
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, next one was Agam Darshi. I said Jaini for her.
I said Nijai.
Oh, I said Ziny.
I said Shiny.
I said Naiji.
I said Nijai.
I said Jaini.
Okay. Answer is Jaini. Jaini. Yes, that was 5. Am I right? 2. Who else said it? Can you guys put your hands up if you said Jaini? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, thank you. And did you put your hand up, Anthony?
No, I got it wrong.
Okay, Erica Dasher. I said Nizai.
I said Nijai.
I said Ziny.
I said Nijai.
I said Naiji.
I said Nizai.
I said Nijai.
And the answer from Erica Dasher is shiny. So we didn't get, I don't think anyone said shiny.
Yeah, I
Right?
said Ziny.
Yeah, you were close. Yeah. So I think this would be one to explore.
Yes.
Going back.
Yeah, I think it was.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Karen David. I said Vijay.
I said Nijai.
I said Vishai.
I said Vijay.
I said Naiji.
I said Nijai.
I said Vijay.
Okay. Karen David is Vijay. Vijay.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
who said Vijay on the call? Can you put your hand up? Thank you. Next up, Mackenzie Davis. I said Zani for her.
I said Nijai.
I said Ziny.
I said Nizai.
I said Naiji.
I said Jaini.
I said Zaini.
Okay, the answer, Mackenzie Davis is Nijai. Nijai, and you got it, and didn't anyone else say Nijai as well? No, okay. So, okay. Next up, Josie Davis. I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Shiny.
I said Jaini.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
Okay, the answer is Jaini.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, nice. So, I know, Infinity, you said Jaini.
Yes, I said Jaini.
Ben,
Definitely.
Ben, you said Jaini too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So 2 out of 7. Okay. Next up, Brienne Davis. I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Vijay.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Naiji.
Okay, Brienne Davis is Nizai. Nizai. Okay. So- Can you guys do a show of hands for you who said Nizai?
Nizai.
1, 2, 3,
I did.
4, 5. Last one, Steph Dawson. I said Nijai for her.
I said Naiji.
Oh, I said Nizai.
I said Nijai.
I said Nizai.
I said Nizai.
I said Naiji.
Okay, Steph Dawson is Nizai.
Yes.
Who? Can you do a show of hands if we said Nizai? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Did you say Nizai? No. Okay, so 3 out of 7. Alright. Good. I think we were all, we were tracking around there on all the different samples.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good this time around.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
There's been a lot of these other ones, there's been like this one had more of the interpretive. Like a lot of the other ones we've done, it's always been these kind of funky.
yeah, a lot of
between
rules, or
Nijai
maybe some.
and Nijai.
Yeah.
There was one, but for the most part it was
Yeah. That does get a little trickier when we start getting more literals and rare.
I mean, it's good to practice on that though.
Yeah, it is. Sure. So it looks like we have, out of the ones, the lowest ones, Erica Dasher. No one got her as a Jainee, so we'll go over her. Also, Mackenzie Davis. I think only one person got her, so she's a neat Roseretta's new shy. We'll go over her. And then it looks like the next one would be Josie Davis. There were 2 out of 7 that read her as a Jainee, which was correct answer. Cool. Okay. Cool. Good work, guys. So we'll look at Erica Dasher first. Thanks.
Did you guys check out Coach's Purifying? The ones that he got?
Oh, you mean recently?
Yeah, the recent purifications that he featured today.
He hasn't done one today.
Yeah, I've seen the ones the last few days.
Yeah. He has put it. I think he'll be filming either later today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
There was this one guy that was on the, what was that show for that science dude? Oh.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, Doctor Who. That one guy that was read as a Nijai. I knew that guy was a Nijai. I said Nizai, it messed me up.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can see the Shy and the Z, but now the mystery is cleared. And he's one, but there was another new Shy there. There was a Doctor Who. He's been a doctor. So he's the second. I think the rest were signing, right? For Doctor Who's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there was like some Naiji and then Nine too.
yeah.
It would be nice to know.
Oh, okay. We have a video here. Yeah, the women on the side.
Okay.
I sent you the link, Glenn, to the
Yeah.
video. Eric Dasher.
Okay.
Take a look at that. I have it up on the YouTube. Yeah. So now that we know she is a Jainee.
I noticed her mouth very much.
Yeah, that was one
you
of the things
definitely
that jumped out to me.
I saw the long face. I thought Ned Tower almost for sure, but I know a lot of other people get knee alpha.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know what that.
I actually guessed Ni Jai.
Yeah.
So I was seeing in the Jai, but I didn't see the tower.
And I must have been
Yeah.
seeing Sub-Rom because, I mean, I chose Naiji.
Yeah.
But,
And I think I was seeing like Taylor Swift or something at that mouth. I went in the wrong direction thinking that was G mouth. And somehow, like, I don't know, I got off on some riff of Taylor Swift, and that took me down the Nizai route, and then I never recovered from that. I stayed in that camp. I didn't really, but even if I were to come back to the Nest Tower, I think for some reason that her mouth struck me as G. And so I wouldn't, I wouldn't have been able to get to Jai. I think because how protruding it is. But I guess there is Jai.
Yeah. I mean,
There are Jai
is
motifs
that
that
kind of
have
like
that kind of like more prominent.
like
mouth.
Lana Del Rey mouth?
Yeah, Lana Del Rey. It's a good one.
And I've seen others too.
Yeah, just for
And
example.
I also think she has good knee use. Like she's very bubbly in a way, right?
Yeah.
That kind of makes her throws you off a little bit too. Her eyes are really they can go big.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has good knee.
That stone face quality that Nani has. Like, it's not, her face doesn't have that like real hard quality like you see like with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, like that more sheer quality.
A real
right?
sheer quality that their face has. That's kind of her. I think we almost like always look for like the articulator or especially like G because it like hits you so much. But then like Jai, even though it's not hitting you, it's still giving out values-based signals. Whereas like with Zaini, one thing you have to look for actually is the absence of that to a large degree.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it like at least in a natural state because, or a more localized. Or like localized to the mouth area. Even some a lot more connected with G, but yeah, I would be sure about that. Still have the sheer cheeks.
I also noticed that she has that one boss that she works for in the show, and she does an interview with her sitting beside her, and I thought that I was looking at because they look the same kind of that she's probably also like a Mizai as well because they look similar. They kind of had the same haircut, and that kind of like swayed me in an incorrect way.
Coloring.
Yeah.
I went there. I think that's probably why I went down the Mizai route too, is that helped it because she had several interviews with Andy McDowell, who's a Mizai, and so I was seeing Mizai, and she has a more mature, like, more dominant, I think, presence on screen, and so I think that I started projecting that whole mojo energy onto
interesting.
Yeah, like a Nizai mentoring another Nizai, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I think I projected like the mother-daughter, like mentor-mentee kind of thing, and just started wanting to see like the same mojo.
I actually took note of this. I looked at some images. I looked at some pictures of her, and I was like, her mouth looked, in one of the pictures, it looked like it was not really like, like Xi kind of has like a way in which it kind of rests in the mouth. There's an awareness, and there's a desire to always want to be symmetrical with both sides, and up and down, and left to right. And I noticed in one of the pictures, one of her lips kind of like was going up a little bit, and one of them was down, and so that's kind of like how Jai is, though. It's kind of unaware of itself in that way. And I noticed that, but I didn't know what to do with that kind of information. So I was just like, that must just be some kind of an anomaly. I'll just pretend like I didn't see that or something. And then I went with Mizai.
Sometimes, though, there are certain G mojos that, and maybe you're talking about something different, but there are some G mojos that have the Zai hitch.
It's true, yeah.
So they do have just that, because the way they develop certain mannerisms, like the Zai freezing on one side, they can have uneven looking mouths, like a Clint Eastwood, that would be
Yeah.
one that
Yes.
would
I think
come up.
Richard Dawkins has that sometimes too.
Yeah,
Yes, stress lock seems to cause that. I've
yeah,
noticed in
Yeah.
emojis to
yeah.
like have that lopsided smile.
And even some well-developed ones. So like some well-developed, both shy and G users have that, like a hitch that it actually adds some like additional like interest to their face.
Yeah,
Like,
I
think I've
talked about that with
complexity.
Shiny for a long time ago.
Mhm.
There's some Shiny
Yeah,
that has
like Robin Tunney has that, where she has a hitch on her mouth.
Yeah.
I think it's like a way to express your swagger in a way. You kind of got like the one smile coming up on one side. It kind of makes you look a certain way, and so she is kind of aware of like how the mouth is kind of being used to project a kind of image of the person. Where like shy is, it's never aware of like, and it's just kind of like it's reacting to stuff, and then you'll see like the shy kind of like do things. So
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like it'll give itself away. What it's thinking, like
Yes.
regardless of what's going on in the environment, like how they're reacting to it, they'll give themselves away, which can be tough. If you want to be a secret agent or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of have to learn to master that, or like channel it into ways that people wouldn't really understand. I mean, yes, yeah. That'd be an interesting thing to like explore. Is like if there are secret agents. I'd imagine like there were Nijai secret agents like Matahari
Yeah,
and
definitely.
stuff. Like but they would be able to have I think maybe more control because of the having Jai and Z, like closer, like having it as tandem and offside. There's more ability to actively control it.
Yeah.
But
A lot more
take them out
play
and
between the two,
So
yeah.
it doesn't give yourself away. Yeah. Cool. Let's get back to. Yeah, her hands are willowy.
Franzi, you mean?
Her hand
Yeah.
is what's that?
Well, you said Franzi, you mean, and it's like, yeah, that too. Willowy is kind of another word often used for just the tower hands.
And also
There should
like,
be like I know you guys have the hands, but what about like the entire arm? Like there should be like that's what you kind of meant, right? Like
yeah,
kinda
that's
like
what I meant. Like the
yeah.
cadence, there was a sort of a higher viscosity of the
Right.
gesturing cadence
Yeah.
and movement when she lifted her hand up to her hair. That I noticed. In
By
addition to
cadence,
her, yeah.
by cadence and viscosity, you mean like I'm not sure what cadence means, but viscosity means like there's a kind of like heaviness to the arm or something. Like
Well,
it kind of
yeah, viscosity means that how Coach has said, talked about like directed movements having lower viscosity than adaptive gesturing movements because it seems like you're like there's more resistance when the hand travels in more yin like mojos
Yeah.
than more yang mojos.
Basically, viscosity. The metaphor of viscosity is because the adaptives when they push forward with the hands when they gesture, then it's almost like it's passing through some kind of permeable substance that's causing resistance, some kind of
right.
viscous liquid of sorts.
Yeah. It's like
So that's
underwater
what it
in a way
is.
or something.
And
Yeah.
cadence refers to basically.
The frequency, the
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's kind of like rhythm, where it's the beginning to the end of something. So the rhythm that it took to get there, and so the gesturing cadence refers to, or the viscous cadence kind of refers to how this gesturing kind of starts up and goes back into its rest position. With a viscous kind of gesturing where it's pushing, where it pushes out, and that's where there's resistance. But the natural state is actually kind of in the bringing back. from complex space.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also the sway bobble versus the bobble sway. I've heard of that. That's kind of like a little bit. Seems like
Right.
it would be difficult to kind of pick apart from either or.
Well, I think right. So the bobble sway versus sway bobble being the distinguishing factor between someone being a knee alpha versus having knee or
Tandem.
having it tandem. So like the bobble would be the knee, and then the sway would
Right.
either be the whatever the resonator is, the shy or the psi. So having one over the other, right? So I think being able to tell that, sometimes I think it's clearer than others, because some mojos, the way they develop, because they're riff, they can hold themselves more rigid or more still because of the effect that their movements have on people. Like what we said, actually it's part of the shiny field pitches because of like the innocent or vulnerable quality to the shiny movements that some shiny can cool themselves down and hold themselves rigid for extended periods of time in order to compensate for that like either being seen as like taken advantage of because they see that vulnerability or as being seen as prey because of the appearing vulnerable with their movements and likewise like the bobble the bobble has a very alluring or enticing sort of quality to it and some new dry can because of that hold themselves still and not animate for extended periods of time. So that also needs to be taken into consideration and depending on that can also that can be something that any of those certain riffs choose to do also have to do with the gender, like a knee shy male or shiny male, because of the way that those movements can get perceived as more yin. They can have even more accentuated, like or holding themselves rigid or still for even longer periods of time. So it can be intermittent. So that's definitely a factor. So you can't always. Some are clear. You can see that sway and then bobble and try to figure out by the frequency of the two, the ratio, like which one comes before the other one. But sometimes that's not available. Yes, so her mouth definitely seems to be jumping out. And I do see it's going into the cheeks because I see the flexations there.
Mm.
And I see knee.
Comparing her to Aunt Andrea.
Yeah.
Dandy McDowell?
Yeah, or the Mizai, the that she's in the show with. They have a different, like you can see the Zai versus the Jai. I mean, it's notable there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah, the other one, the Mizai, she's more subjective heavy a little bit, I think. But her Zai kind of makes her come off a little bit more, kind of, like the Zai kind of has like a lifeless kind of quality to it almost.
Do you mean
I
kind
don't
of?
want to.
Or more still,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like more
Yeah.
laughable.
Hot quality of the face, the ad serb ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a
Like
more
real
dispassionate.
sharp
Dispassionate quality.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
knee's eye, I feel that kind of comes off as a coy game.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, not so much. I mean, it doesn't have to be, though.
It doesn't have to be, no.
I think she's playing it more as actually alpha. like in an alpha role to the other, to the one we're reading. But it's like more of a dispassionate, unflappable of like you'll do as I say, or like I'm serious about it, or I'm not gonna let your energies, your emotional energy sway what I think about it or what my position is. So it has a very like it seems like
Almost kind of like
unmovable.
severe, almost a little bit, I think. Kind of a little bit.
Sometimes, yeah.
Intimacy.
Sometimes more than
Right?
others. Yeah, in the scene, yeah. It is like that.
Do you guys want to check out more of her, or should we move on to the next one?
I think we've said a lot of. Well, let's check to the end of this interview just to see what other. Because I don't think we've really seen like her emotiveness going into her eyes yet. So I think that would be a good thing to be able to.
We've been a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of that, actually.
Okay.
I already watched the video like 3 times.
That's because we have so much to say. There. Okay. At 2:05, I saw her it go into her eyes. Yeah, he's too shy.
Yeah. Her
The
smile,
right.
she's got a big smile too in a way that kind of looks a little bit sharky, almost like knees I have, but it's not.
Yeah. And that's how I got confused that she was a Naiji. I thought I was seeing that smile in a Naiji, actually.
Like the she inside.
Yeah.
But I think like with G, it kind of like the end of the mouth there, it kind of goes more up a little bit. It's sort of like the Joker, it kind of goes up a little bit. Whereas with Jai, I think it might like it kind of dips down a little bit. I don't know, but that's kind of like
I know what you're saying.
physical kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I don't think it's always the same that way because people have different kinds of genetics that make different kinds of face mouths. But I mean,
In general,
I think,
yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, the
there's
dry
something-
downturn.
It also has
versus
the
the
kind of,
upturn.
it kind of goes like into their face too. That's something I noticed. Like it kind of has this going in quality, and it kind of comes back like this. I can't really do it.
Yeah,
Or like the way her jaw kind of seems like it's moving off to one side, or just going in.
I don't know. Like
Yeah, I totally get what
into
you
their
mean.
face instead of like out.
Yeah, I think like especially like I think the upper lip, because the upper lip is like what, or no, sorry, the
Lower lip,
lower
yeah.
lip. Yeah.
It's
More
more behind the
Right.
upper lip.
Like there's those intakes of air that go along with it too, that resonation, that breathiness. Yeah, go inward. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so shiny. Now let's take a look at Mackenzie Davis. Davis, yeah, I read her resume, her signee. I've seen her as Old Nest Tower.
Are we talking about Josie or Brienne?
Mackenzie.
Oh, Mackenzie. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see here.
I said shiny for her. So I was tracking on Adderall.
Yeah, so you were close.
And I said Naiji.
So you saw
Yeah.
Najez.
I saw Najez.
Yes.
What for Mackenzie Davis?
Yes.
Okay.
I said Ziny.
Yeah, I said Ziny too.
She's niche.
What it was about her? Like I thought her eyes were like had that real neutral look.
Yeah. Oops.
She did have a very outgoing game.
Yeah, she did. She did.
I don't.
Yes.
I was kind of weirded me out a little bit.
Cool. I sent you the link, Glenn.
I could.
Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be the video about her collecting roadkill skeletons, which I should have like because several ninja have that sort of like fetish or interest in like skeletons and like roadkill and like taxidermy.
Yeah.
Taxidermy, I could see totally. Yes.
She was.
Maybe it's the eye fetish.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Oh, she was in. I just noticed that it's her now. I was actually getting
Oh wait, hold on.
a fourth.
Yeah.
I was getting a fourth gear riff of her.
Ooh, with who?
A fourth gear riff of who, Glenn?
Oh, yeah. I was from that one movie with that Emmanuel Siegner from Frantic. I was noticing that. But I was like, she can't be Anisha. But she is.
She is. Yeah.
Interview was really funny with one Conan.
Yeah.
That one guy, he was so awkward.
Yeah, and I
yeah.
guess that thing that you were talking about, Glenn, just in the last interview of like how it goes inward, the bottom jaw. She's doing that with her jaw.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
there it is.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
very
there it
true.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You ever sort of like her unaware mount, like the way it has it, like it sort of just moves on its own for like its own.
Yeah,
Right.
I do that too.
Which is weird.
Yes.
But you would think it
Oh,
over.
But now that I see it, she's giving me fourth gear of what's her name from Spider-Man, the latest Spider-Man, Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, yeah.
Emma Stone, about how her laugh was.
And you know what I also noticed? I mentioned this one in my notes. She seems to be quite like flirty with her eyes, isn't she? Like she'll give Conan, and I even remember the way she was looking at Craig Ferguson. It's sort of like this eye contact.
so that is why I
That's
actually thought it was an
actually-
IG. Yeah.
What's interesting is because I was between Nizai and Nijai with her. What made me go with Nijai was heavily based on what you were talking about, Glenn. Because there's this certain move that she does that I think I've only seen Nijai do it, especially in that way. But it's with like a Jai purse downward while like their eyes are open, like drinking in. With
It's a form of peekaboo.
yeah.
Yeah,
Boy.
they bring down their head, and then they kind of look at you like this, like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like
Like, and it's kind of like,
expectant, flirty.
oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
oh my gosh. I should have noticed that. I was like, that's so appealing. Why is that so appealing? No, she's a shiny. She's a shiny.
But it's so funny. I saw the same appeal, and I thought I was seeing my Naiji other. It's so funny. I was going the other way.
Man. You'll notice that at the
That's
end of
great powers.
this interview.
Yes.
And another thing, just generally, the way that they kind of use their eyes to sort of kind of create an impression, like they'll kind of like blink in a certain way, they'll kind of be like, oh, and then they kind of like, I don't know, like all these kinds of different kinds of things. It seems odd because it sort of seems like they are aware of what they're doing in a way, but it's
Well, I think they're aware of the possibilities and
Yeah.
bringing up possibilities to come, to pass. So they're aware that there are these, like openings, or they actually make them
Yeah.
come up by the way that they're so like that like you said, that meaningful eye contact. That can mean really anything.
Yeah.
It like really depends on how the person takes it.
Yeah.
And then from that, like they can see possibilities coming off of it, and they can decide to pursue them or not,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of that part of the, power of me, and with Jai, Jai.
they like to present possibilities.
Yeah, or open and make the environment open for possibility,
Yeah.
like with their way they're open and approachable, and sort of like second conversation sort of way that they
Yeah.
connect with people. Yeah.
Yeah, and when they put that out there and press on their environment, they are aware of how they just just pushed on the environment. So afterward, you do. That's why you see the Jai expecting that and drinking in while expecting like what's going to happen now that I put that out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, kind of like how she's doing right now. I like the minute looking at Norm Macdonald with her eyes. Like she actually is keeping her Jai, you know, like sort of protected in a way, like but like or you know like hidden while she's drinking in with her eyes to see what she's getting from Norm now that she's you know provoked the environment.
Yeah, they kind of like to provoke the environment to kind of create those kinds of
Yeah, both Nez,
openings.
yeah, do. Nai Alpha, also, especially Nai G, like to provoke the
Right.
social environment. That's how they get, you know, a lot of the insight. At
Definitely.
Yeah, that is Z. Now that I'm looking at it, that's her hands. They're Gumby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have more tension than Tower.
It's way too fast to be Tower. Yeah,
Yeah.
way too fast.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
sort of
that.
Koi Peekaboo just did.
It's also a lot how she responds to kind of like awkwardness.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
her tension in her hands. Yeah, but her smile reminds me a lot of Emma Stone's smile. Not like. She's articulating right now.
Yes.
It looks Gracie. Or I don't see any like warmth of the expression.
Yeah.
Like just in the articulation itself. Now, like Strike came in. Good.
I think Glenn is gone.
Oh, what happened?
I don't
He
know.
left-
he left about 5
Yeah,
minutes
he's
ago.
not there.
Oh,
He left about
wow,
5
that
minutes
was
ago.
that long ago?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Are you
It was
sure
a
he
while
didn't
back.
send Ben or Mike to meet us?
I didn't even notice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
figured he was just.
That's kind of sad. I didn't notice.
I figured maybe he was going to the bathroom or something.
Well, he dropped.
Oh,
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 okay,
there he
he's
is.
right.
There he is.
I just sent him another invite. I might have done it. So we'll go into the last one, which was Josie Davis. Sure. Glenn, are you there? Hear us?
She's coming.
Okay.
Just so that it takes a second.
Kill. So, Josie Davis is a Jaime. I know several. I think several. I know I read her as a Nizai. I think there were others who read her as a Nizai. I think because of her big smile, she had a big smile. She also had like very distinct
The cheeks that did it for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I was seeing that that rhomboid area that we always talk about with the Nizai with the Cheshire cat, I thought I was seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? She has those eyebrows. Those shiny eyebrows.
Yeah. That's
Like they
true.
sort of tilt down at you. I'm looking at you from my tower.
Yeah.
These I don't have that. So I had more. Any cool coaching.
I don't know, something about like her head movements kind of reminded me of my mom. She was soft red / photo red as a shiny. I think that's the main reason why I got shiny.
Yeah, you know
Otherwise,
what?
I probably
actually totally agree with you on that, Ben. That's actually one thing that sort of weirded me out when I was looking at her, even though I guess these eye, is that she had a stillness to her.
yeah.
I thought maybe Shiny for a time too.
Yeah. Let's watch her. Let me send another invite to Glenn. Okay. There she is. I think one lesson that I learned from this particular mojo sample from the ones that I did get wrong is again that mouth, not jumping to conclusions. She has, whether it's natural or not, I'm not sure, but like she has more protruding lips also.
Yeah. So like making me OG.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah, so I need to detach from that some more and not automatically associate it with she or like let that sway me in any way towards she. We're actually looking at other things, exploring. I think also like how chiseled her cheeks.
Yeah.
Shiny, that's pretty common though. Like a lot of shiny, like even though they
Yeah.
are
It's true.
value
Yeah.
green, they don't do a they don't smile a lot. Like Coach, like they sometimes get interpreted as cold sometimes, but when they do, that it goes up the face. It easily goes up. That's the difference. And then there are lots of these eye that do lots of smiling, and they go out of their way to do that, but it never goes to their face.
Yeah. Yeah. So she has good knee. I think I can see that right away.
Her animation too is like very controlled, very
Yeah.
minimal. Like she's always never. I don't know how to describe it. But like
I guess I was able to see the emotions go up higher than the eyes for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really spot that to rise higher.
Right. This one was a little short, so let's watch it.
That was short. 8 minutes long.
True.
Yeah, that was the name of the video.
Guys,
But
I think I clicked on. I clicked on the last part. I accidentally
Oh.
clicked on the.
okay.
So we got
I'm
the
sorry.
clip notes.
That's okay.
I was
Okay.
muting it.
You can just go right to the middle if you want to.
Okay, I'll go to the middle.
Close your eyes and just pick a target.
Yeah, I think also like like she does more macking or promoting. And I also have to detach from that as like
Right.
not being
Yeah,
like the macking automatically.
yeah, she's a
Even
pretty
though,
spiffy Chinese.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of
Kind of spiffy, yeah.
But look how controlled her animation always is. Like
yeah.
it never goes like into like total bobble like you'll see with a knee alpha. Like it's always kind of coming out of her tower and going right back. It
Yeah,
always seems pretty still energy.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a more discerner way of, her eyes have a more discerner way of looking too, now that I noticed.
They do. They do. You can see the rest of the face kind of coming up over them.
Hey, could I have an iced tea? Yeah.
I'm good.
Her
So bronzy
hands. Yeah, they're bronzy. Although you can tell like she has more knee development because it is like on this,
For sure.
yeah, on the spectrum. She does seem to have more animation when she does animate, like more yang animation than some other Shiny.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thank you.
She closed her eyes there. That didn't seem like much of a transition.
Yeah,
Like
no.
like she just sort of closed them. It wasn't.
Right, it didn't
We
seem
kind
like.
of went over that once, like when suggested we close our eyes, like it's like nothing really happened to our face. It's sort of like we're already kind of there to a degree.
Yeah.
Whereas when an objective does it, it's like you just put like a blinder on.
Are we still on Mackenzie, or have we changed?
Yeah.
We're on Josie Davis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on Josie Davis going over going over her like she got her right as a shiny, but everybody else did like me Zai or Ziny or something. Or shiny. I mean, or Nijai. But what we were pointing out, Glenn, was some things where like even though she has like prominent lips, like it's not necessarily she, and like her emotive expression is going up into her eyes. Also, like her hands are bronzy, even though she has good muse. You can tell, like in the spectrum of gesturing cadence for Shiny, she does have more animation when she does animate.
What I was noticing with, because I was just reading her earlier today. Her face looks like it's kind of like lioness, and that kind of makes me think of G in a way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
And
one thing, like, because Shiny can also have, like, the lioness face. Like, that's one thing that I've been seeing more and more.
That's.
I've had that, like, inner conversation with my spirits of, like, there's several Shiny that have this, like, lioness look, especially as their knee gets, it's like, well developed, so they get sort of, like, these feline-looking eyes, and, like, something about it is like a lioness.
Yeah, it parallels the pilots actually. I think it has to do with the lead discerner being a lead discerner, because it seems like all the lead discerners, they actually have very powerful faces, or at least they can. And that's, I think for me, what I'm going to have to detach from that is because,
It's like one.
like in this case,
the unit.
Yeah, I think in this case I kind of confused that for sheer cheeks, but it's like looking now, no, I can see that there's those faces, there's, I don't know, I don't know if radiance is the right word, but I can see that there is an emotiveness, even though they look powerful, like I could see the emotive kind of fine flexations that are there, and they're kind of ready to do that.
Like they kind of crunch in around the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually like thinking because Fergie also has a kind of face that makes me think that way too. That she must be a Nizai, but there's Fergie is more like a cat. That's kind of like how Meowth are, right? They kind of have like a more cattish, like a more rounder kind of face, but not like the way that hers is. It's yeah. I was even considering G9 for a sec with her. I thought that maybe that much, but you know.
Fergie has the sheer cheeks.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in one of the interviews, she was kind of like, she was subjective. She was very still, and her game looked like it was. It looked like she was using G the way she was talking, because it seemed like she was emphasizing points, and she was being kind of slinky in a way. And I thought that, what is that? Like, what? Yeah. Shiny.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like I had to detach from the fact that she does do more promoting of her projects and herself, and not confusing that with like G-Mac.
Yeah.
That quality that she has of like being more aware of the dynamics and how they fit into it and moving forward their projects in themselves.
She's very take chargey.
Yeah.
She has a take chargey energy, and which pretty often the shiny can exude. So it's kind of that flavor.
But we don't see like. But yeah, it's a certain riff of shiny or certain development.
Yeah.
Not all of them like that.
There's definitely like a take charge kind of shiny that are, you can see quite a bit, and they're quite forward. They can be quite forward the way that they kind of, with their mannerism and their behaviors, they kind of like, they don't, and it's very much the Jai, which is like, it's not concerned so much about the way that they're being perceived in a way. It's kind of like, I want to make this kind of, I want my Jai to be able to express itself in this kind of a way, and there's, no one's going to get in the way with that.
Yeah.
They're kind of like unforgiving in a way, like in that way. But it's kind of, it's like a particular kind of riff of Shiny that have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom is that riff.
Yes.
So.
Well, like they're gonna shy however they want, kind of riff. Is that?
Well, it's a riff of like they're very opinionated and like forward with their Jai.
Like John McEnroe.
Jai feels about certain things. Yeah, it can be. It can be like they do tend to have more emotional explosions, outward explosions because of that, because they're more demonstrative, like outright with their Jai.
Right.
And that so you can have, I guess, good and bad things depending on what that means, like how they've.
People really liked him though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Oh, definitely.
He's a good showman.
Yeah, he's a good showman, and he was good at what he did. That's
Was he a
important.
tennis player?
The question! Answer the question! You go back and watch his videos.
That's so funny. Yeah. Okay, so I think now would be a good time to do. I think we'll probably have time for one live read. So let's do that. Let's do a group read. Okay, let's try. Let's try Amanda Duquesne. She's an actress.
There's some Nijai like that too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, there's the link.
All right. Get the gloss.
Her hands seem to have some yangness. To
I
them.
see yangness. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Whatever that means, I definitely see.
Yeah, they're real.
yangness,
Yeah, like very notable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
She is very kind of like thicker in the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast too. Kind of to the ear.
I'm seeing a lot of engagingness.
Yeah.
A lot of outness.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of outness, and when she's gone disengaged, it seemed like she went really quick and
Yeah,
tried to
short
come
bursts.
right back out.
Short bursts.
Viscosity. How does that express?
I'm seeing some viscosity, but not, not like a tower.
Yeah, she keeps her palms in some of the time, but well, I mean, she keeps her her palms in some of the time, but like she'll tilt them out a lot. It's pretty easy for her.
Yeah. Mhm.
And she'll do these lots.
Yeah.
Gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of this. She has a head tilt on the right there.
Hey everyone.
Hey.
I just got back. I got disconnected because
Yeah. Welcome back.
No problem.
because my laptop ran out of battery. So I'm actually on my tablet right now.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, do you think you could like screen share it? Because that's the only way I can see it on here.
Do you want to do the same thing that Glenn has done, which he pulled it up?
It doesn't really work on a tablet so well because you
It doesn't.
like
Okay.
can't really have two things at the same time. I mean, you can, but like switching back and forth. And stuff,
Okay.
so-
Let me screen share it. Okay. Can you see the screen share?
yeah, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. She's doing jutting. I don't know that it's like natural yet, but
her entire posture and the way she's sitting is very laid back, but I'm not.
Yeah, it is. It does
Yeah.
seem laid back. Like not necessarily like doing a hunter, like lurching forward. You know, that's
true.
you know.
I get the feeling her head wants to come out forward, though.
Yeah.
Kind of, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone think they're seeing like aware or unaware?
Having trouble with that, actually.
I'm leaning more towards aware right now, just myself, but I don't know. I'm still,
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell.
It's really difficult. I kind of feel like she's objective, though.
yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards
I'm leaning there too,
objective
yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think in what do you think in terms of G mouth versus G mouth versus Z mouth?
Oh, she versus the articulation.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
You mentioned the Z. You mentioned the Z, so now I'm seeing the Z for some reason.
I'm not necessarily seeing that, but I don't know.
How do you guys feel about logic-based versus values-based?
That's a better.
That's a
That's a
tough
good
one.
question.
Yeah. I think that it'll be important with her to cross-contextualize with the
It would
interviews.
definitely be very important, yeah.
Because I think this
Yeah.
interview,
I want to
it
see
seemed
like a
like,
different posture.
yeah, because like this hand, like it seemed like I was seeing so much of the hands
Yeah.
because of the posture that I was having a hard time like putting in another like that. That's just-
Yeah. And she was like leaning back. Like, does she stay lean back? She always lean back?
Right. Let's see.
Is that just like a thing?
Okay, there's. Here we go.
Is there a second link to the video?
Yeah, I'm gonna send that to you. I was looking actually for one.
All right.
Here you go. This one is like 48 minutes, so of course we won't watch the whole thing. But,
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
We might need it.
we might need it.
You just go to the coffee shop.
I wonder how much that really help though. Like if you went for that long, like, you can't tell.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
something
a
like
great question, actually.
we were talking like actually that was one of the things we were talking about today with Coach, and one of the things is like it seems that a read, like it usually seems like 15 minutes is sort of like the minimum to get some sort of sense on the mojo, but oftentimes that's not enough for someone to feel comfortable with the mojo. It seems like 30 minutes seems to be a good amount of time of like, okay, I've canvassed this sample enough to get some sort of idea, and like at this point, 30 minutes after 30 minutes, like it won't really change. Like you've gotten as much as you can get out of this sample, you know, like as far as like what sense you have of what their mojo is, and watching it beyond that won't really help add more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
In
what I
general.
think it is like, yeah. It depends on like how much range you're seeing, like because not every interview is created equal, right? In some interviews you might have the person showing themselves in a more reserved kind of way where they're not giving off as much cues. Whereas you might see another
Yeah.
one where you see them, in a much more dynamic kind of way. You sort of need to see their game. The more of their game you're able to see, the more you're able to then find out what kind of a mojo they are. Exactly. I think that's kind of like how it is.
Yeah.
And most
Yeah,
interviews,
that's within the.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's within the context of trying to get at least like about three interviews to cross contextualize, and hopefully in those three interviews you'll see, enough different facets of the sample.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah. I think put a number on it, a time limit if you have to. I think in general, do what you need to do to feel good about your read, even if that includes doing things that aren't just looking at more footage, but also like opening up collages and like compare and contrast with other physical samples that you have on hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, comparing, contrasting, doing all that sort of stuff. Just sort of help get you more firmer in some kind. Like the more information you have is the better, because it's all so helpful in getting you to like figure it out. But sometimes there can be too much information. Sometimes you might be paying attention to the wrong kinds of things. That can kind of cause issues too. So it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Good screen share. It went out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I'm seeing the gesturing, like more yang. But, this sort of gum, is this what kind of gumbish?
I don't want to. I feel like if I say this, it's going to create maybe too much sway.
Yeah, true.
But like, should I say it? Like, who I feel like I'm seeing?
Yeah, just say whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
No.
Don't take this. Just take this with a grain of salt, for sure, please.
What's that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm seeing Oprah Winfrey a little bit.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Kind of.
Well, I'm seeing,
That's interesting.
I'm seeing take charge. I think I'm seeing like objective. I don't know that take charge necessarily means directive at this point. I think I'm seeing maybe she as opposed to shy, maybe. But I don't know. I'm still looking.
Yeah.
I think it might be just because she's a little bit more, she's just a bit more bigger.
Yeah,
That's why
she is
she
bigger.
might be
Yeah.
kind of.
Right. Play into it
Yeah,
too.
so I want to detach. Yeah, exactly. See if like maybe that more imposing form that she has, like if that in itself like is not a red herring, something that's like throwing me off. That doesn't their mojo.
Does she seem in any way sort of opinionated though? Because I noticed like with a few of the reads that we did before, a lot of the women that were like talking in a sort of
I'm not
opinionated sort of way.
sure that's natural yang.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing like the thing about her is she's talking about specifically like the format of show that she's doing that's like all about women, and so I feel like that skews things right away, to like very like more like biased, maybe or I don't know if that.
See, I'm looking like at her fingers, and I see. I mean, I really don't think I'm seeing the crowd, but
yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, I think objective is where I'm leaning.
Yeah,
objective, sure.
The combination.
I haven't really eliminated gather because.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Right.
Either.
Exactly.
Her fingers are doing I don't want to say like collapsing. That's more like towers, but they just seem more pliable than I've seen. I mean,
Yeah, she's not like awfully percussive. I
No.
don't think.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to me.
Mm.
Let's see.
I
I'm
mean, I'm not
looking.
saying she's not directed.
Right. Me neither.
Like,
Just tricky. She seems like she might be well developed in her modulation powers because it's hard to tell the difference between, what's energizing her, what's not. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's objective, but at the same time, she doesn't seem to be very animated, and she doesn't. Sometimes she can be animated. Actually, I just saw her just do something. But I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm looking at pictures right now. You guys can probably see it.
I was actually
Screen share.
comparing her to Oprah a little bit.
Yeah, but you guys it seems like she is looks objective here in the pictures.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing objective.
Yeah.
objective and G, right? That's like what we can all see, I think.
That's kind of what I'm
I haven't
seeing.
agreed upon G
Right.
yet.
I don't know about G.
I'm not so sure on G.
Okay.
It's possible, but I'm.
Well, I'm leaning that way, but I'm not closed off to the possibility of Jai.
What about perception versus discernment?
I mean,
It hasn't really made itself known, has it?
Right.
yeah.
So that you kind of.
Yeah, that would be a harder one to pull
Right.
at this juncture.
Yeah, okay, so let's look
Okay.
a little more at her and her.
Guys,
Yeah, sorry, Infinity, go ahead.
I actually have to run, unfortunately. I had to leave right at 10:30 my time.
Okay, well, do you guys
I feel like I want to watch more video of her, though.
yeah.
Feel free to. Feel free.
Okay.
I'll find out the answer later on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Well-
Thanks for understanding, guys.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Good night, Infinity.
Take care.
Yeah, take care. See ya.
Have a great night.
Okay, let's watch some more.
It's fun, though. She's difficult.
Yeah,
It's
she's
kind of
a-
like, what is she? What?
It's the same question. Yeah, do you think you could screw Dragon?
yeah. I don't know. Do you think you guys can I guess it's hard to say because she does have a larger frame, but I'm wondering if that gives some sort of sense of literal versus interpretive, or if anything else that she has gives a sense of literal versus interpretive.
You mean, are you asking whether we're leaning towards literal versus interpretive?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards interpretive.
Yeah, I'm not really
I'm not
feeling
really
any
But I
force
want
towards
to
it.
be shy,
energy.
or something like that. She does have more substantial hands, and so I was wondering, trying to.
I mean, you know what?
Figure out what that means.
Because I'm probably
You know
leaning-
what? Actually, the very first video that we saw, she was using her gesturing. It seemed kind of a little bit fleshy. I don't know. It just seemed like it had like that kind of look to it. But I noticed it, and then I was like, whatever. Maybe I'm just seeing things, and then I was like, I don't know. So that kind of made me think that I'm seeing V.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe her eyes have a nigh weariness to them that we have hasn't pointed out. But I don't know. I just thought that I'd throw that out there too.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Never mind. I know what you're saying.
You want to check out a different video?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard. This one is a little further away. So see if I can
Maybe if there's one with her standing.
Yeah. Let's see. And,
I think we should also be mindful of the fact that maybe we might be thinking she's objective because she's a little bit more, bigger. I don't know, maybe that association can sort of sometimes be made. So.
well, I
I'd say
think the association came from the fact that she was doing a lot of eye contact, and when she went disengaged, she seemed to be quickly and trying to get back into connecting, more so than like the frame.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like the yangness, more
Yeah.
yangness of her gesturing.
Yeah,
I think
I would
that's
agree.
where
I
the
would agree.
objective came from.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like
Let's see. She has a lot of.
so it is important to know that.
Yeah, it's good to just throw that out there, I think.
Yeah. So.
Keep everybody, like, challenging it, right? Because if the real answer is what the real answer is, then that will make itself known. So, despite whatever it is that we say, the answer is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might actually help to actually kind of throw out, like, is anyone getting any fourth gears? Like, Glenn, you already said that she's reminding you of Oprah Winfrey. Has anyone else has kind of landed on specific possible configurations that we're testing out actively, if that makes sense?
Nobody that we actually have read, for me.
Yeah, she's kind of a bit tricky. I kind of did consider maybe like Nizai, like certain riffs of them, maybe.
Because I'm gonna say right now, I'm playing Xenai too, actually.
You're saying Xenai. Oh.
I said because I'm gonna say when I first started looking at her, what I was kind of, I'm not saying that's the answer, but what I first felt compelled to play with was Xenai.
Yeah, I actually did. I got that a little too. I kind of I went towards more value
I thought
space.
I saw like I went to value space because I saw.
That's why I'm saying.
I did actually consider Xenai.
I'm not putting this forward like a persuasive argument.
Yeah.
I'm saying that that's where I was compelled to start with.
No, that's okay.
I think that I sort of considered that, but then falsified it by seeing fine flexations that went above the midline, so that led me away from the Xenai.
Okay.
But I could see the her gesturing.
Yeah. Like I'm picturing Ivanka Trump's face. I'm looking at it right now in my own mind, and there's definitely, I feel like there might be a difference in the way that her face looks like as compared to the person that we're reading now. But that's definitely like interesting because it kind of goes with what I was thinking about her being an objective, discernment lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but I'm still, I am open to Xenai possibility. I don't want to like close it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think maybe like watch this interview.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like the closer, like the more face, be able to glean more.
And if we could see her maybe do some really emoting.
Sorry. Let me pause this because actually I'm going to fast forward to when she's being interviewed. Sure. Okay, here we go.
What time is that?
At 1:41.
She reminds me of Amber Lion. Is anyone else?
Amber Lion is a journalist.
Xenai journalist. Well, I was getting a little bit of now that Adimus brought that up, and in the same vein, I'm getting a little bit of Laura Logan.
Yeah, Laura Logan. I got her too. Also, Christmas Abbott.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Laura Logan is a journalist who's a Xeni. You can take a look at she's at pictures of her.
I see little Bamials. I'm relying a little. I'm not.
It's the cat-likeness. Look.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at her movements,
Laura
yeah.
Logan, and what's the other one? Amber what?
Amber Lion.
Lion. Yeah, Amber Lion. Okay.
Also, Christmas Sabbath is one.
Christmas
I thought.
Sabbath.
The blonde.
Yeah. I do see like her hands like seem pretty young. She has a lionic sort of face, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Articulation seems on the easier side for her. Like she doesn't have a lot of pauses. She can just go into articulation. And she doesn't seem to be at a lack for words.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
that's true. But I mean,
She might just be really
I haven't seen
good.
cameras like that before.
Right. Yeah.
With that said, I do think her articulation is on the more percussive side. I don't think she's a counter.
I'm actually looking at pictures now of her. So I'm gonna see what I can dig up here.
It's interesting, like, we're riffing off of, like, you guys brought up some riffs for D9. Like, could that possibly hint that we were looking at like a Z user here? Because, like, you know, because
Yeah, I see it.
I don't know if I see Z9.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, yeah.
No, of course.
So what do you guys feel then?
I feel like she's definitely values based. Actually, I feel like. No, maybe. It's
You know,
something. I think she's
did
shy.
feel that way too, Glenn. I kind of saw what you're seeing, but I'm having a
feel
hard
like
time
she has-
articulating what's making me think that.
But I feel like she's definitely she has shy. Because I'm looking at one picture and she's got this like shy look in her face.
You think shy now?
Yeah, I'm thinking she has shy and Z. Probably.
To be honest, I am starting to lean away from Z9. I mean, I'm not taking it off the table, but I'm leaning away from that. What about her jet? Like, because we have to think about. So, like, if she is, let's play with Xenon. I mean, is she doing Star Trapper gesturing?
I don't. I mean, I don't know that that's what it is. I don't see her doing those tassels. You know, like the corny stabbing hand. I haven't seen her do that necessarily yet.
I do have very gay gesturing.
Yeah.
A lot of choppy out lines. Usually.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, take a look at some more pictures maybe?
Yeah.
Oh no, I am seeing.
Her eyes look weary, don't they? I kind of feel like they look weary to me.
What do you mean by weary?
There's just
Tired?
kind of tired. Could that be shy?
Oh, no, sometimes she gives me Jessica Simpson. who's a VJ.
Simpson?
Jessica Simpson, who's a VJ.
Jessica
I think-
Simpson?
Really? Jessica Simpson?
And like in this picture, do you guys see screen share? I don't know. Maybe that's just in my head that she's like blonde.
Jessica Simpson. Can we pull up a picture of her actually?
There's just
Yeah.
Comparison.
I think a way to.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
I will
Mouth
say,
does seem
yeah.
different.
And Jessica Simpson, she hits me more immediately with like glossy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not hitting with velocity. You're right.
Clearly.
Okay.
I mean, I really am. I mean, I'm not 100% positive, but I would definitely lean more.
I can see what you're saying about whoever said Jean I.
That was me. I was right in the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know. Like her smile. She may not be, but
One thing I do notice a difference between her and Oprah, though.
Rebecca
When I
remains
look
same.
at most
Sometimes
Oprah,
she reminds me of Rebecca Romaine. I was thinking that
she
too.
has like her face is just out more.
Yeah.
Oprah's is. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
way out there in every single picture. Whereas hers, there's a lot of hiding behind the hair.
But check it out. Check it out. Like Rebecca Romaine Stamos, who's also Jinai. I'm getting a fourth gear riff of her.
Who's this? Rebecca.
Rebecca Romaine Stamos, who's a Jinai. I'm getting.
Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah. I have a screen share. I have her on screen share right now.
Interesting.
Oh.
Is this some kind of model?
And what is her mojo?
Jinai. She is a Jinai.
Yeah.
So.
Difficult to say.
What's that? Difficult to say?
It's difficult, isn't it? Only thing I feel good about is the fact that she's objective. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of feel that.
I feel like she's objective.
I don't know.
I don't think she's a tower.
No, she doesn't feel tower.
No.
I love Hunter. I don't really get like Hunter.
Yeah, I don't get Hunter either. I get Pilot. I think I get Pilot. But
yeah, Pilot. I get Pilot more than I would get Gatherer, because Gatherers, they tend to be more animated. She seems more like structured in the way that she kind of talks, the way she behaves. Like, I'm leaning, I think, more towards Z.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards Ness Pilot, but I haven't. I can't say one or the other.
I mean, right now, if I was to put it between three mojos, I would put it between Gnai, Zenai, and Nijan. That's kind of the three.
I agree.
I would agree too.
Because
I'm not favoring any of those.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Because I'm thinking of the possibility that that I guess the G9 could be kind of look up. And then maybe the Z9 is thinking that she's a user and happened to using a lot when he's talking about these issues or like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
But that not being the case, I think I am thinking I'm considering.
I don't think we're quite catching like everything you're saying, Ben, because you're cutting off a little bit.
Did you hear anything? Was everything? Like, could you understand what I was saying? Like, or should I repeat it?
I couldn't really understand it.
Okay.
Personally, yeah.
It sounds like far away, like your microphone's sort of muted.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually really close right now. I'll talk I guess. Here, wait, actually, here's the thing. I have a case on my tablet. I took the case off. Here right now.
You were cutting off.
Yeah, I
Now
heard
you
you. I heard
now.
you. Yeah.
I heard you.
I'm hearing you, but it does still have kind of the cutting off quality.
Okay. Okay, well, I was just I was just saying, like, I was considering the possibility that the G9 book could be like an Avram book. That's basically what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's this one picture. There's this one picture that I want to show you guys. If you guys look it up, look up a picture of her. Maybe you guys can pull it up by yourselves.
Can
But
you
it's
screen share?
okay. I'll screen share.
I have the.
Hi.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I see it.
This picture is messing me up. I don't know what to make of this picture. It's kind of hard to say. Like, is that Jai or is that G?
That looks
Is it
like
Jai
G to
above?
me. That looks like a
It's
where.
like G.
I don't know. That's the way it strikes me, but
Yeah, she just has this real out quality. Her
Yeah.
name. And that's sort of what's tricky, because like I think that's what's giving us the objective.
okay. So, are you guys comfortable with saying one of the three mojos, Zenai, Jinai, or Nizai?
I'm not.
Or Nijai, you mean?
Nijai, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so Jinai, Zenai, or Nijai. Yeah?
Those are three main ones, I think, right? For everyone to agree on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was actually, okay, before we do that, I was actually going to have we really eliminated like Naiji? Because I know we said like objective earlier.
She doesn't have a hunter.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing.
It's a combination of her outness and also her gesturing. It just has more of an objective quality.
I'm not seeing Warm Wizard either. That has
Yeah. No, her hands definitely have a big thickness, you know.
I don't see Hunter Hunch.
Yeah.
I don't see the stop and start articulation that Naiji have, because Naiji have very good articulation. It can be very smooth, but it has like these jumps in it.
Yeah.
Where it'll be kind of calm and it'll be really intense. I don't ever see that with her.
Okay, I think since we're running we're running over.
Well, I didn't get a chance to finish what I was saying. I got cut off. I was the reason why I said that is because I was considering like it could be between like Nijai and Jinai, for example. You might end up with Naiji. But yeah. I got cut off, so.
That your voice sounds much better now. I just want to point out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing, but it's working right now.
I'm having a lot of connection problems right now, I guess.
Okay. So Jai,
okay. All right. So.
Yeah. So
I think we should probably try and.
Yeah. Maybe we'll say, are we comfortable? I'm comfortable with narrowing it down to the three mojos, Zenai, Jinai, and Nijai.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I would lean towards Pilot, but that may be wrong.
I would lean more towards Pilot too, and that makes sense. Because two of our guesses are Pilot.
Yeah. So we have envelope here. Opening it up. Let's see. She is G9.
Okay, yeah.
G9.
I'm happy about that. Because honestly, I think of all of them, that was probably the one we were most leaning towards.
Yeah, I saw like that when I got Rebecca Romaine Stamos, then I started really getting like serious.
And G9 was like in the center of both the alchemies because we had the Nez pilots and the Avram.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the center.
Hey, give me some credit. I was the one that said G9 is the first one.
Yeah, he did.
I get honest.
Oprah Winfrey, yo.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, you got there.
It's totally.
That's a hard. It's hard.
And the V fleshy claw, even that, the way this.
Yeah. Good work, guys. We zoned in on her. You know, we were right there.
Yeah, we're tracking.
We were tracking strongly. Cool.
Okay.
Great work, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we did great work for today. We'll pick up again next weekend, next Sunday.
Yep.
So there'll be another Mojo quiz coming out.
Yeah. So until then, good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
Quizzes.
Yep. Have a good night.
See you next time.
Good
night.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
You
Yeah,
too.
good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.